I don't know. I'll let you know the next full moon. I'm a werewolf.
You're gonna change. You'll kill people. You'll become...
I know. A monster.
David, don't lose control!
Control? What control?
David, I can help you.
No, I'm not safe to be with. You gotta stay away from me. Run!
Everybody dies in it.
There we go. That's the trailer for a re-release of An American Werewolf in London. Hang on, let me get rid of that. Oh, that didn't stop us streaming. We'll see. We will see. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and it's Friday, which means it's appointment with fear time. American Werewolf in London, that's what we're doing. So let's hit the intro, and then we'll get on with it, shall we? Right, I'm back. Right, American Werewolf in London. Classic film. Let me get rid of some stuff. Just let me get rid of some stuff. Hiya, Joshua. He's here on time. Yay. But it says no viewers, so maybe he's not here. Maybe he arrived and then buggered off, or maybe he came earlier and just left that message. Yeah, an absolute great. And it is, it's a great film, it's American Werewolf in London. I've got some notes, but we'll get to them later. Yes. Some notes here. The 54th Academy Awards, an American Werewolf in London won the first ever Academy Award for Best Makeup. That was Rick Baker. During the that's something else. Yes, he won the Oscar for Best Makeup Effects. Did Rick Baker? Although personally, I'm a Howling fan. I prefer the Howling to American Werewolf in London. I love them both, but if I were, forced to choose between them, I'd put the Howling above American Werewolf in London. Rick Baker, of course, as many people know, was the original makeup effects artist on the Howling, but he left to go and do American Werewolf in London. I think I've got that on the note as well. While John Landis was trying to get this film made, Rick Baker became tired of waiting over 8 years and decided to use what he had been planning for this film on The Howling in 1981. Eventually, Landis called Baker and told him, "I have the money. Let's make American Werewolf," to which Baker replied that he was already doing a werewolf picture. Landis started yelling at Baker over the phone. Baker decided to leave The Howling in the hands of his protege, Rob Bottin, and would only consult on that film, leaving him free to do this one. Reportedly, Rick Baker's initial decision is something for which John Landis has never forgiven him. It wouldn't have bloody an Oscar for an Oscar. Baker had never forgiven him Baker's ultimate decision to leave the project, both because of said call and because his The Howling designs were becoming too similar to what he had reserved for American Werewolf. But The Howling, like I say, Rob Bottin went on to do The Howling, and the designs are completely different. The werewolf in the American Werewolf in London is nothing like the werewolves in The Howling. And personally, I prefer the transformation scene in The Howling and prefer the look of the werewolves in The Howling. But the one in the American Werewolf is cool. Right, so enough of that banter. Let's get the film up. As usual, I won't be just playing the film, obviously. We'll be going through it in a series of stills when I find it. I'm talking about it as we go. So here we go. I've got to be careful later on in this film as well, haven't I? Because there's a sex scene in the film, but that's tastefully done. But at the end of the film, there's like proper nudity, boobies and stuff. So I've got to be careful, haven't I, there? So quite often I get the films and I edit them. I put it in my video editor and I try and block out the nips. But I didn't have time to do that this week, mostly because I forgot. Right, so let's get on with it. What are we like? Oh, there, we're going to skip along. It says, for Jim O'Rourke. I don't know who he is. I should have researched, but never mind. Right, we start off with Blue Moon. Now then, I've got a list here of the music in this film. Blue Moon by Bobby Vinton. That's who we're listening to here. So there you go. Also, I've noticed there's Heavy Metal Thunder by Saxon. I don't remember hearing that in this film. I've just finished watching it not 10 minutes ago, and I don't remember hearing Heavy Metal Thunder by Saxon. I like Saxon. I've got a patch probably from somewhere. Never mind. But anyway, so here we are. This is supposed to be Northern England, Yorkshire to be precise. Great place. But it was actually filmed in Wales. But we're here in Blue Moon, and we're seeing some nice scenery. There we go, an American Werewolf in London. Some nice scenery. David Norton as well is the star of the film, and Griffin Dunn. David Norton plays David. Griffin Dunn plays Jack. Speaking of David Norton, where are we? I'm going to have to move this up now. Hang on, where are we? There we go. I met him at a convention once. There it is. That's me. That's me on the left, David Norton on the right. I got his autograph, as you can see there. Met him at a horror con. It was very nice. And I think that behind, lurking, is that Maniac Cop? Could be, some sort of zombie cop. He didn't get me, thankfully. But yeah, a very nice chap. A very, very nice chap. Right, where were we? I just thought I'd show that. I just thought I'd show off. Right, so some other people in it there. I know we're skipping over a lot, but there you go. Brian Glover, Lila Kay, David Schofield. They're people that are in the Slaughtered Lamb soon. What's Joshua saying? Apologies for the tardy. Let's get rolling. Yes, we're off. First off, this soundtrack is amazing from start to finish. It's great. Some great songs in it, and an amazing score, really atmospheric by Elmer Bernstein. I'm surprised I haven't got it, because I love the music in it. I love Elmer's, there we go, original music by Elmer Bernstein. I love this score. It's really moody and atmospheric. It would go on to do Ghostbusters, wouldn't it, a couple of years later? Anyway, let's keep going. But as I said, this isn't Northern England, this is Wales. And then we're coming up, here we go, we see this truck up here. It's a transit van, by the looks of it. It's been modified. I don't think that's a real sign, because as I said, it's in Wales, not in Yorkshire. They stuck that there. And I don't think the real places, I've never heard of these places, Irwood, East Proctor and Leashire. Never heard of them. But anyway, so David and Jack are having, excuse me, they're on holiday in, they've got 3 months off, and for some reason David wanted to go hiking around northern England, and then later on in the year they're going to go to Rome, which is where Jack, that's Jack, Griffin Dunn, that's where Jack really wants to be. He don't want to be in the back of a van with a herd of sheep. Anyway, they get out, and off we go. Oh, there we go. We've got some subtitles. That's East Proctor, and all about here at Moors. I go this way. That's what he says. So they thank him for the lift, and says, got lovely sheep. There you go. Thanks for the ride, sir. You have lovely sheep. The boys, keep off Moors. Stick to. I'm not going to do alt script. What am I on about? So they bid him goodbye, and they bid goodbye to the sheep. They say, bye, girls, which were apparently an ad-lib. But then they set off. By the way, that actor was called Joe Belcher. I've probably seen him in other things, but I can't think of anything that I've seen him in. Right, so they set off. It's cold, it's wet. Jack's not happy. Jack asks David if he's cold. Jack says yes. And, David says yes, and Jack says good. There might be real places, Joshua. Joshua's said, you can see. Oh, I've just noticed the chat's displaying in the little chat box. Wow, technology is amazing. There might be real names, I don't know, but I've never heard of them. But I suspect that it's made up. Right, so off they go, hiking away. They're heading for East Proctor. And the location for East Proctor is also not in Yorkshire, that's in Wales as well, near Boothwells. Boothwells, I don't know how you pronounce it. More notes. I've got notes this week. I'm very professional, aren't I? The moors were filmed around the Black Mountains in Wales, and East Proctor is in reality the tiny village of Crickerdown, about 6 miles southeast of Boothwells, off the A470. That's a road. Where are we? The red phone box is real that we see in the village, apparently. I'd never even thought that it wasn't. The pub shown in the film, known as the Slaughtered Lamb, was actually a cottage located in Crickerdown, and the interior scenes were filmed in the Black Swan, Old Lane, Martyrs Green in Surrey. So the interior of the pub is in another country. The interior is in England. The exterior is in Wales. The interior is in England. A lot of location shooting, by the way, in this, more than I thought. Some studio shots, particularly some of the Piccadilly Circus shots, but a lot of that were filmed actually at Piccadilly Circus, but we'll get to that. Anyway, he's talking about Debbie Klein is Jack, a young lady he wants to romance. But, David says she's a jerk, but he likes her. There you go, she says she likes me too much. And then they do some knock-knock jokes. David obviously doesn't understand the mechanics of a knock-knock joke. He just keeps saying knock-knock. And then you've got to say, who's there? And that's it for him. They said, don't you get it? Never mind. You're supposed to say knock-knock. And the person goes, who's there? And he said, Doctor Who. And then you go, there, you got it. Because Doctor Who's a famous person. Or you go, Doctor Who and the Daleks. And he said, Doctor. And he said, Doctor Who. I don't understand knock-knock jokes either. Jack is never happy, and he only gets worse. Well, yeah. Still love his character throughout, though. Yeah, he's a great character. They're all great characters in this film. They're all great characters. By the way, over this scene, as they're walking towards East Proctor, great music by Elmer Bernstein. But here we go. So here we go. They arrive at the Slaughtered Lamb. That's kind of strange. Where's the lamb? That's what he said. Probably inside getting cold. So they go in. Oh, we didn't see the sign, did we? Let's see if we can see the sign. But remember, this isn't a real pub, so there isn't a real Slaughtered Lamb in Crackerdown. See, I'm not finding the bugger, am I? Come on, show us the sign. Tell you. Oh, sod it then. Never mind. Hang on, can I play it a bit? Right, we'll do this. Got to be careful. There we go. There's the sign. The Slaughtered Lamb. It's a wolf's head on some sort of pike with no sign of a lamb. Why didn't they call it the Slaughtered Wolf's Head? But it seems, from this sign that this village has had a problem for many years with werewolves. Maybe there's a family of them, I don't know. But anyway, they go inside. And then we see that's David Schofield, who's quite a famous British actor. He's playing darts. And we also see Rick Mayall, who you may know from The Young Ones and other stuff. Blackadder. Bottom. What was that film? That film I hated. Drop Dead Fred. Who were in that. People love that film for some reason. I thought it was crap, but never mind. Anyway, we see the everything stops. By the way, it's the old cliche. They walk in, everything stops, and they ask, "Can they come in?" So they say yes. So they go and sit down. That's Brian Glover on the right. Rick Mayall there. You just see him on the left. I don't know who the fella in the middle is. And there she is. Sorry, I said to my son earlier. He said, "Where's the cat?" And I said, "She's out, Charlie, my cat." Not Charlie, Princess, my cat. Charlie was the previous cat. Princess. I said, "She's out." But I said, as soon as I start my show, she'll jump up, she'll start jumping at the window. And that's what she's doing now. So she can sod off, she can stay out. She can wait. I'm live. Right, anyway. So they ask Lila Kay, who plays the landlady. I don't know if she's got a name, I don't know. But Gladys Gladys, isn't it? It's Gladys, because Brian Glover tells a joke. They ask if they've got any, hot chocolate or soup or, no, but she can do them tea. So they get ready for some a nice cup of tea. Anyway, the group of locals, that's Rick Mail on the left. Right on. They notice, Jack notices there's a star on the wall. There we go. Sees that. What's that? And David says, well, maybe the owners are from Texas. And there we go. And he says to Lila Kay, remember the Alamo? She goes, I remember the Alamo. I saw it in Leicester Square. And then, there we go. She means in the cinema, that film with John Wayne. And he says, yes, with Lawrence Harding, everybody dies in it. Very bloody. Bloody awful. Then he goes, checkmate. And then he says, hey, yeah, that one. Here, Gladys, Tom, did you hear the one about the crashing plane? And I'm doing the script again, aren't I? I love this film, but but they don't hear the joke. Everybody's going, oh, but he tells it anyway. And they're all laughing about the crashing plane joke about the American delegate from Texas who chucks out the Mexican. And they're all laughing. And then there goes, what's that star on the wall for? But before that, they're talking about it's the mark of the wolf man. He's telling the joke there. There you go. And then he goes, what's that star on the wall for? There you go. And he makes David Schofield miss. You made me miss. I've never missed that board before. There we go. And then so they sense the hostility in the room, so they decide they better go. Jack says, I'm starving. He says, there's nothing for you here. They keep driving customers away. They do it later on with John Woodvine. But obviously not bothered about custom. They must have enough with the locals. By the way, that fish on the wall there, that looks like a pike. It doesn't look very nice, does it? It's not a very nice thing to have hanging on your wall. It's not a billy bass, is it? Let's say that. Right. So they go, and then Lila Kay says, Gladys says, you can't let them go. But they do, and they tell them, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, beware the moon, lads. So off they go. So they set off, and almost immediately, she's saying there, shouldn't have let them go. Should the world know our business? It's in God's hands now. And then the moon comes out, and there we go. I don't know where that moon was shot. Maybe the camera was at a funny angle, I don't know, but... there we go. Normally, can you see me? That there, I think that's the Mare Crisium on the moon. Usually, when viewed from the UK, that's usually up here. top right of the moon. And that crater there, Tycho, that's usually down here. So, unless the camera was at a funny angle, it could have been, couldn't it? I'm nitpicking. Right, where were we? So they set off. There you go, they're on the road there. Looks like they're in a park or something, doesn't it? Not on the moors. It probably was filmed in a park. Then, there we go. Almost immediately, they stray off the road. Look, you can see him going off the road. I watch it every time. And I'm going, watch where you're going. Bloody hell. But then it starts raining. And then they start singing Santa Lucia. It's a cold and a wet out of here. There you go. And then Gladys says, maybe they'll be safe in the rain or something. And then they hear the howling, not the film, the howling of the werewolf. It's not really a howling though. It's kind of a mixture between a screech and a howl, isn't it? There we go. And Gladys says, we must go to them. And they say, I heard nothing, nor I. Anyway, so they hear it, and they hear growling as well. And then they joke about it. So, it's the Hound of the Baskervilles and Heathcliff. And but anyway, they decide they're going to go back. So they set off back to the slaughtered lamb. I suspect this might be in a studio. It looks very studio-y, doesn't it? So it could be. But I could be wrong, I don't know. But this animal that's stalking them is, it's circling them. So anyway, they keep moving, and then who is it? Is it David falls over? So they start running. They set off running. And then we go, David slips, he falls over. Jack goes to help him up. Let's see, I've gone too far. Look. Jack goes to help him up. And as he goes to help up his friend, the werewolf attacks. There we go. Gets him. It starts ripping him apart. And he's shouting, oh, it's killing me. And David, in a fit of terror, just runs away. Which is understandable, I suppose. You would, the what is it, fight or flight reflex. So he just runs, but then he realises and he says Jack, and he goes back to him. He finds Jack there. Surprisingly gruesome, by the way, this film. I hope YouTube's I'll get off it. I hope YouTube's gonna be fair with us. Anyway, as he's looking at Jack, the werewolf attacks him and starts scratching and biting him and stuff like that. And then we hear gunshots, and we see. We're going to see him here, aren't we? There we go. We hear gunshots, and the werewolf is killed. The locals, they've come after him, and as David lies there, they've saved his life, but as he looks across, and he sees. Oh, for God's sake! We get a quick glimpse of the werewolf. Oh, where is it? Why aren't he showing us? Oh, how weird. Oh, there he is. Get a quick glimpse of the man who was the werewolf. I don't know who he is. Has he got let's have a look on IMDb. Well, shall we? Where are we? They're going to tell us first. Oh, there we go. First werewolf, Paddy Ryan. That sounds familiar, does that? But I don't know where from. So that's Paddy Ryan, there you go. As the first werewolf. But he's dead, because you don't need silver bullets. I mean, for all we knew, they might have used silver bullets, I don't know. But they don't need silver bullets in this. So anyway, so there we see, he passes out, there's David. And next thing we know, he's in hospital in London. What's that? Regarding leaving the road, I bring you Jonathan from Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. Americans, he scoffs. Yeah, I suppose. Americans. That's when they're all shooting, innit? And loving it. Anyway. So here we go. This is where we first meet the astonishingly gorgeous Jenny Agutter as Nurse Alex Price. There she is. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, she gives me palpitations. She does. Anyway, she's his nurse. She's probably the poshest nurse in the world. She's got a frightfully posh accent. But David had called out. He'd said Jack, and he's called out, and I don't know. He hasn't woken up yet. But this is I can't remember her name. Nurse, I think she's Nurse Hobbs. I think she's obviously Alex's friend. Not quite as lovely, but nurses. Pardon me. And then we're introduced to John Woodvine as Dr. Hirsch. Has he got a first name? I don't know. Let's have a look. Does it say anything? Does it just say Dr. Hirsch? Dr. J.S. Hirsch. I don't know if we ever learn what the J stands for, or the S for that matter. Oh no, it's Nurse Gallagher. That's it. Nurse Gallagher. Nurse Hobbs is somebody else. Anne-Marie Davis is Nurse Gallagher. She says, I think he's a Jew. I've had a look. But apparently, he's supposed to be circumcised in this, is David. But apparently the actor, David Norton, isn't. So they had to make sure not to catch that in scenes where he's nude. To make sure we didn't get a good look at his Jimmy Riddler. But obviously Dr. Hirsch isn't. Yes, he does look like Peter Graves. He's very Peter Graves-ish. He's the British Peter Graves, is John Woodvine. I think it's been in loads of stuff, you know, on British television and stuff, but I can't think of anything. Anyway, it's common practice now. Anyway, he sends Nurse Gallagher packing, and then he goes to check on David, and he said, "What did he call out?" And she says Jack, and oh, that's the boy. That must be the boy who was killed. And there you go. Jack Goodman, the boy who was killed, and then she asks what happened to him. And said, you know, they were attacked by you know, an escaped lunatic. That's what they say. But he sends her packing as well. And then we cut to a dream scene. As soon as I start, look, people are sending me messages now. It's unbelievable. Hang on, let's have a look. What the heck? We're live. Might be important. You never know. Yeah. Right, where were we? Right, the first dream sequence. He keeps having these dreams. I think he has about three of these dream sequences. We see him, obviously, probably a steady cam running through the woods. There we go. That's his first. And then we meet Frank Oz. He's there peeking over me. Hello, Frank. You see him there? There he is. There's Frank Oz. Going, ah! Because that's how he talks. Mr. Collins. And I'm from the American Embassy. I'm talking like that because that's how he talks. Curiously, we see him later on as well. We don't. We hear him later on because there's a clip from the Muppet Show. Later on, in another dream sequence. I forgot we get 4 dream sequences, don't we? And this is where he's breaking the news about Jack, that Jack's dead. And David doesn't take it well, so they have to sedate him. They give him a sedative, obviously. But you know, he's not reacting well, and Mr. Collins also doesn't react well to David not reacting well, and says, you know, ungrateful kids, you know, they don't appreciate anything you do from them. So anyway, basically he's there to tell us that the authorities are washing their hands of the matter. You know, it's all been dealt with and everything's okay. You know, Jack's dead, it's sad, but you know, the killer was, you know, killed. Jack's murderer was killed, and as far as they're concerned, it's all sorted. So there we go. There we go. So that's them sorting David out. So then he asks how long it's been. I think it's been there we go, brought in 3 weeks ago. So we're getting up to full moon again, aren't we? So he's been unconscious for 3 weeks. But he's going to be okay. He's got some bruises and black and blue for a while, and then it tells him that the madman has a strength of 10. And it says it wasn't an escaped lunatic. It was an animal, a wolf. There you go. And then what's happening there? What's he got on his nose there? What's that? Is that something on the film or what? I don't know. That's odd. Then we see Dr. Hirsch in his office. Now then, this, by the way, the hospital scenes are filmed in an actual hospital. I've got that written down as well. Where is it? Where have we written it down? I haven't got it written down here. Never mind. I got it somewhere. Filming locations. The hospital in which David Kessler recovers from a nasty wolf bite was Putney General Hospital. That's in London. It is closed now. It was demolished in 2014. And John Woodvine's office that we're seeing there on the screen. David's room as well. Hang on. Although Putney supplied the general hospital scenes, David's room and the office in which Dr. Hirsch is questioned, all right, were filmed at Chiswick Maternity Hospital, also in London. So the hospital scenes, apart from David's room and this, were filmed in Putney, and these were filmed in a maternity hospital, which were used in other TV productions, including the BBC hospital soap Angels. I used to watch that. That were about nurses. But that's also been demolished. So there you go. Anyway, where were we? Now he's talking about Roger Matheson. So if I survive Rommel, I'm sure I can survive an excruciating evening with Roger Matheson. Anyway, then the police arrive. Inspector Villiers, Sergeant McManus. The actor that plays Sergeant McManus is hilarious. I've never seen him in anything else. He's that really good, comic timing, a good comedy actor, and I can't remember his name. Paul Kember. I'd say I've never seen him in anything else. And Inspector Villiers is Don McKillop. I've probably seen him in something. He's got one of those faces, but I couldn't tell you. Right, so they don't want any tea, and there you go. Has Mr. Kessler said anything regarding the attack on the moors? And I forgot his name now. McManus knocks over at some kidney dishes, and there we go, and makes a song and dance about rearranging them, and then that's it. That's the end of that scene, sort of. And then they go see David, and David's adamant that it wasn't a lunatic, it were an animal. Yes, very Rowan Atkinson-ish, a bit, yeah. Kind of sort of reminds me a little bit of John Cleese as well for some reason. His mannerisms, maybe, I don't know, but. David says, it was an animal that attacked them, not a man. And actually, this Detective Kember, Sergeant McManus, is actually, it seems to be a really good cop, because he's willing to listen, but the inspector, just dismisses David's assertions all the time. But anyway, so they say, the matter's closed, good day to you, and all that, so off they go. And then we find out that all David's wounds were dressed and cleaned and dressed before he even arrived at the hospital. And so that's a bit of a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy going on. Anyway, then we go to another dream sequence. And this is where we see David stalking a deer. And he's running through the woods in the nude, and then he stops by a tree and sees the deer and pounces and then eats a deer. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. Then we see. Oh my goodness! Sorry. This is obviously Putney, isn't it? This is hospital scenes in Putney. So she's asking the porter about the patient in room 21. Does he seem depressed? Will he eat his food? And he said, I just push things around. I'm not a bleeding psychologist. So that's funny. And then she talks to this kid who just says no all the time. There we go. Oh, this is where she's asking him about the patient. Then she goes to see David. She's to give him some pills. But he's not eating, he's not hungry, he doesn't want anything, he's just listening to the radio or whatever it is. I presume it's the radio. But she says in a very posh voice that she's to give him some pills after he's eaten. And she feeds him. She said, will he be forced to feed you, David? He says, Nurse Price. Says, you can call me Alex. So we see that there is chemistry between them. A lot of chemistry, I think. But she does feed him. There we go. And he won't eat, so she nips his nose to make him open his mouth. And there we go. Let's try a little harder. So there we go. In it goes. So she feeds him. And then another dream sequence. We see David running through the woods. I always look away at this bit because it scares me. I don't know why, because it's not that bad. Probably because the first time I saw it, it probably made me jump. And ever since then, I can't watch it. So we're going to get to it. There we see Alex approaching David in the woods in his hospital bed. And, see, I've gone too far. Here we are. And then we see the scary face. Are you ready? Are you ready? Brace yourself. Brace yourself. It's coming. There we go. There you go. I even drew it. You know, I like drawing, and I even drew it to try and get it out of my system. Didn't work. But he's talking to Dr. Hirsch about his dreams, and you know, the doctor just tells, well, they're just dreams. They can't hurt you. But he's sticking to his guns that it was an animal that attacked them. There you go. It was an animal, a big wolf or something, or a rabid dog. You know, he's trying to rationalise it. So there we go. And there we go. That's where he's telling him that his wounds have been cleaned and dressed before he arrived. And so his wounds are healing nicely. And there we go. If there was a monster roaming round northern England, we'd have seen it on the telly. That's what they said, don't they? And so he's telling David to remain sane, at least until he's no longer their responsibility, because he's going to be discharged in a few days. And David says he'd rather not be alone, so get somebody to sit with him. And of course it's Alex. Of course it's Nurse Price. So there we go. So she's sitting with him, and he says, "You're very beautiful," which she is. She's reading. So she reads to him. She's reading a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. She reads it frightfully well. Because she's a good actress and she can read really, really well. There we go. So he reads to it, and then he falls asleep again. And then we get the final dream sequence. At least I think it's the final one. Yeah, I think it is. This is the big dream sequence of the film. There we go. We see the Muppet Show on the telly. Sorry, it's in America now, isn't it? So we're on the TV. And what we see here it's David's family. David's in the background there doing his schoolwork. And that's Rachel and Max, his little brother and sister. Rachel and Max are the names of John Landis's kids. And of course, Max Landis has gone on to become a writer and director himself, hasn't he? His mum and dad. And then somebody's knocking on the door, so the dad goes up to get to the door. And I'm presuming it is a Jewish family because they get attacked by Nazi monsters with machine guns. There we go. I don't know if they're supposed to be werewolves, I don't know, just some demonic monster creatures, I don't know. But the whole David with a knife at his throat watching as his whole family gets slaughtered. And the house set afire. And then they cut David's throat and he wakes up. Or does he? And he wakes up and looks over at Alex. And he says, "I've had a nightmare." She says, "I've got just the thing." And she goes to the curtains and another one jumps out and starts stabbing Alex. And then he wakes up again. Oh, hang on. There we go. Wakes up again. And he is awake this time. Then the porter comes with a huge plate full of food. Maybe it's because he's American. Maybe the American embassy's paying extra. But I don't think you get all this on the NHS these days. On the British National Health Service, I don't think you get bacon and eggs and porridge and toast and all this stuff. You probably just get a boiled egg and some soldiers. Yeah, it's a cool scene, Joshua. That dream sequence with the Nazi monsters. I think it's more than the images. I think it's the noises that they make that disturb me. You know, that screeching noise that they make. It's I don't know. It's like a discordant noise, isn't it? Anyway, so he's got some food. So off he goes, and Dave says good morning, and he sticks his spoon in his porridge. And then he has a little visit. There we go, from Jack, who's an undead. He's not really a zombie, but he's obviously solid because he moves things around. But I don't know what he is. But anyways, to walk the earth in limbo, we find out. Oh, I take some of David's toast. Pardon me. Apparently, they were a bit cut out of this scene. David eats the toast and it actually falls out of the hole in his throat. And for some reason, if they were going to get an R rating, they had to cut that out. If that stayed in, they'd have probably been given a NC-17 or whatever. But no, so they had to cut that out because some toast fell out of his his open wound. bizarre. I don't know, but they cut that out. That'd have looked cool. So this is where Jack tells him that David is a werewolf, and he's got to because Jack died an unnatural death, by werewolf. He got to walk the earth in limbo until the werewolf's curse is lifted and the werewolf's bloodline is ended. And obviously, it's David is the last werewolf. Of that line, and so he's got to die, or he'll kill people. The next full moon. So obviously, David's upset about it. And it's supposed to be buried someplace in New York. And then Jack talks about his funeral and that Debbie Klein cried a lot. Then she sought solace in the arms of Mark Levine, an arsehole. This is life mocks me even in death, he says. And there you go. There you go. She's so grief-stricken she runs to find solace in Mark Levine's dead. An arsehole. But he apologises for upsetting him, but he says he's got to warn him that David must die or he will kill people. And then he does the line where he says, have you ever talked to a corpse? It's boring. He says, I'm lonely, David. And then he tells David not to cry. And then Alex comes in. Obviously, Jack's disappeared. And he kisses her, does David. And then he tells her that he's a werewolf and that Jack was there. She says, you're dead, friend Jack. And then she convinces him it was another dream. So he thinks it didn't really happen. Which is, fair enough, I suppose. Fair enough. Yep, you're dead, friend Jack. Then another dream. So, and then she asks him, "Where have you got anywhere to stay in London?" So she's been a bit forward, isn't she? But she's obviously super attracted to him, and vice versa, obviously. So she takes David back to her flat. So we see him walking through a London street. I don't know where it is, but they go to a supermarket and buy some food. Apparently, it costs a lot. But I think inflation was quite high in the early 80s. Probably about as high as it is now, to be honest. And then they go on a tube train home with some punk rockers there. Because I think punk rock was still a thing in 1981, wasn't it, I think? And David's pulling faces, and it's very amusing. But they seem to take it in good humour. They don't beat him up. They're just, kind of smiling at him. Because it's David's smile, David's disarming smile stops him from getting stabbed. Anyway, they arrive at Alex's flat, which is... hang on, what's that? I know, you'd have to be dead to not be attracted to her, yeah. And she's still a handsome woman. Where are we? Where's my filming locations tab? Right, Jenny Agatha's... address, the address, you see on the door, number 64, the address is actually 64 Coleherne Road, Earl's Court, that's in London, southwest 10, opposite St Luke's Church. Both exteriors and some of the interiors were filmed here, probably this, what we're seeing there, the hallway there. I don't know about the flat itself, maybe that were the flat itself were probably a set, I should imagine, so they could do the transformation scene. I imagine, I don't know, I could be wrong. Anyway, so we'll get to the other locations as we go. So she goes to his flat. She's flat B. It's a nice little flat. A bedsit, nearly, I suppose you could call it. I lived in one of them for a while myself. Not in London. But she shows him around. It's just one bedroom. And then... she says she's not in the habit of bringing young Americans home. So this is where we get the love scene. She says, I'm going to have a shower, which is an obvious invitation. There we go. So there we go. Oh, we'll hear Moon Dance by... Is this Van Morrison? I could be wrong. Where are we? Moon Dance. I'm right, yeah. By Van Morrison. So this is the love scene. I've got to be careful here now, haven't I? So they're making love, and there we go. Keep going. And let's be careful. So they're obviously very much in love. There we go. Oh, crikey. That was very tastefully done. Anyway, David wakes up, and I presume it's early morning now, I presume. He goes to the bathroom, has a pee, and then sees Jack in the bathroom mirror looking a little bit more green. He's starting to rot, isn't he? It gets worse each time we see him. So he sees, a nurse, huh? So there we go. So Jack reiterates that David has to die. Oh, that Mickey Mouse, squeaky. I think it's a squeaky Mickey Mouse. Watches on as David transforms later. But he reiterates that David has to die. Tomorrow night's the full moon. He says, you'll kill people. He says, I'm not having a good time here, David. And but then Alex comes in, and there you go. She wakes up. She hears him talking, and she comes in. There you go. And he tells her that Jack were there again. There you go. Just saw Jack again. And then he says, "Did you see the Wolf Man?" He says, "Was that the one with Oliver Reed, which is Curse of the Werewolf, not the Wolf Man?" And he says, "No, the original with Lon Chaney Jr. And we did it, didn't we? Not long since." And the other fella. Anyway, and he's on about. David thinks only a person, that loves a werewolf can kill him, and he's trying to say he's fallen in love with Alex, but she won't admit that she's fallen in love with him. Spoilers, she does by the end of it. There we go. That said it there. Look, I believe that you loved. Oh no, that's something else. Claude Rains, that's it. It's Lon Chaney's father, and he ends up killing him. There we go. A werewolf can only be killed by someone who loves him. We find that's not true, because he gets blown away in a hail of bullets, doesn't he? And I don't think those police snipers loved him at the end. But anyway, there you go. She's saying she finds him terribly attractive. Anyway, Dr. Hirsch has decided to drive up to Yorkshire from London. I don't know why. Maybe he's been to a conference or something, or maybe he's just decided a good long drive, because it's a fair way. He's Yorkshire from London. It's a good. I know Americans love driving everywhere, and like a 4-hour drive is nothing to Americans. But here in Britain, it's a trek. It's a trek. So off he goes. He goes to East Proctor in his little sports car, and here he is. And he goes into the slaughtered lamb. Asks for a Campari and soda. Sorry, love. So there's a small Guinness, a half of Guinness. And Brian Glover's playing chess. And Dr. Hirsch asks about, nasty business with those American boys and the feign ignorance. And he pushes Brian Glover a little bit, for information. But, he's wanting nothing of it. And then they tell him to go. There's nothing for you here, sir. So, as I said, they're not very, customer friendly, are they? To outsiders. So, anyway, they send him on his way. So he goes. So he leaves. That's David Schofield. He's got to go check on the dogs. So off he goes. There we go. So anyway, Dr. Hirsch decides to. There's nothing for you here, sir. So off he goes. He's got an umbrella now. He didn't have an umbrella when he went in. He had his coat up, didn't he? I don't know. Maybe he had it under his arm. I can't remember. And anyway, there he sees David Schofield watching. So he goes over to him, and David Schofield. There you go. So that boy's in danger, and he says, he'll change, and others will be killed. I think that's what he says. It doesn't say that in the subtitles, but then Brian Glover interrupts and says, "That's enough." There we go. And sends David Schofield packing. And anyway, so Dr. Hirsch heads back to London. Next day, or later on that same day, could be, I don't know. Later on that same day, it's early evening, isn't it? She's working the night shift, is Alex, obviously. So she's setting off to work, and she's telling them that she's left the pills. So off she goes, and then David gets accosted by a small dog and two creepy girls. There she goes, there we go. Dog's yapping, girls are laughing, creepily. Not creepily, but, annoyingly. So, it says, "Thanks, dog." And then he's locked himself out, because he's a fecking idiot. Sorry, but it gets me angry. And he nearly does it again later. Stupid man. So he decides to try and get in through the window, and then a cat hisses at him. There we go, hissing. Oh, I'm not going to see it, are we? There you go. Cat hisses at him. And actually did that by holding another cat to it, because cats don't like other cats, do they? Anyway, he gets in through the window. Good job nobody phoned the police, innit? A neighbourhood watch. I've just seen somebody climbing in the window. But for a first floor flat, it's high, isn't it? I mean, look at these cars. Hang on, can you see me mouse pointer? Yeah, I mean, there, you can see over those cars down there. Will we see it a bit better? Oh, heck. There you go. There you go. So he's looking down, isn't it? But it was up some steps, I suppose. So, whatever. So David potters about the flat for a bit, puts the telly on. Back then, we only had 3 channels in Britain. We had BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and that were it. That were his 3 channels. On the first channel, there you go, on BBC One, it was the test card, because the telly used to go off on BBC One in the afternoon for about a couple of hours. Oh dear, it were unbelievable. And they just used to show that with a bit of music, the test card. On the other channel, BBC Two, we've got some darts. And then on ITV, I don't know what's on it, but we've seen an advertisement, a commercial, about Nina Carter and the news of the world with her amazing life. Obviously a news story, the news of the world. A newspaper which no longer exists. It got shut down, didn't it, because of its dubious reporting. But it was immediately replaced by The Sun on Sunday, which is essentially the same paper. So anyway, so there's nothing on telly for him to watch, so he just wanders about. And then we hear Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. So he's pottering about the flat. He's not hungry. Nearly locks himself out again. There you go, look goes out. But as you say, hang on, see if I can... Right, here, look, what's this lock here? We call them Yale locks here. There you go, you can see it there, look. Look, that's out, that, look. If that door blows shut, he's locked out of the flat again. All you have to do is turn that, press the little button, it'll stay open. Stupid man. Anyway, so he's pottering about the flat. There, fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. So he's wandering about. Then we cut to Alex at the hospital and that little kid. I forgot his name. And that just says no. So she starts tickling him. And then it goes up to the moon. It's obviously not the moon. I've no idea what it is. It's probably just pasted onto a bit of black card. But, I mean, look at it. It looks nothing like the moon. It's like a bowl of porridge or something. And then we go to Blue Moon by, I can't remember, I've forgotten. I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh, stop it. My stupid mouse is going doolally. Sam Cooke, of course, Sam Cooke. We hear Blue Moon by Sam Cooke as David starts transforming. There we go. So he rips all his clothes off. There we go. And then his hand, just his right hand, I don't know why, just his right hand starts transforming. His left hand, you'd think they both start at the same time, wouldn't you? You would think. But as you see there, look, his left hand comes up. That's fine. But next time we see them, they're both, you know, the same. So it must have caught up. Again, these are the effects by Oscar-winning effects by Rick Baker, and it is very well done. But I reiterate, I preferred the transformation scene in The Howling. Anyway, but this is still good. In The Howling, it's a bit more slimy and gooey, innit? The transformation scene and dripping and stuff. And this, it's a bit, I don't know, it seems a bit plasticky to me, but never mind. But it's still good. It's still good. There we go. This is the fur sprouting, and there we go. He flips over, and then obviously is. So I said it's probably a set. This is probably a set and not a location, because it'll be under the floor, won't it? You know, there'll be the body will be prosthetic, and just his shoulders and arms will be poking through the set for him to wave them about. So anyway, so he carries on transform, looks at the camera. I think he's looking at the Mickey Mouse thing here, isn't he? Because it's watching. He's watching the Mickey Mouse thing, and then it's watching him. Oh, it's not going to show it, is it? But that's what I think what we're happening. He's not looking at us. So it keeps flipping over, turning a bit more, getting a bit more hairy. When it showed the hair sprouting from his body, I think that's they actually filmed that and but reversed the film, because I think they start with the hair out and then pull it in, and then to show it growing, they just reverse the film. There's Mickey watching on. And then his eyes open. There we go, that famous shot. Can you see any reflections in the... you see the camera reflecting in it. This transformation is better than the Howlings. Ooh, well, not in my opinion. Except that I want to give you a piece of my mind. But, well, yeah, that's a cool bit. No, I prefer the Howlings myself, but never mind. Each to their own, you know. I don't dislike this one. I'm just saying I prefer the Howling one. Anyway, I think the Howling's got a better snout as well. I'm sorry, I think it has. Anyway, his snout grows. Here we go, and then we get his first look at the werewolf. There's got a little dew claw there. Oh, you can't see it for me. Hang on, where are we? Get rid of that. There we go. Oh, you can't see my mouth, bloody pointing out. There we go. His dew claw there. You know what dogs have. I think cats have them as well, don't they? Oh dear. Where were we? Yeah, so here we go. I'll play this bit. Are we still going, by the way? I better double check this, haven't I? Make sure we haven't been stopped. Yeah, we're fine. Here we go. Get a good look. Tank got a tail. A werewolf without a tail. Obviously, it's a quadruped, not like the werewolves in the Howling, which walks on 2 legs. This one's a quadruped. But here he is. You have to be quick as well. You don't see its face very well. You get a little quick glimpse of it as we can when it comes up here now near Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is watching again. And there you go. Get a quick look. I've got to be quick here. No, it's going to go off now. There we go. The moon's fading in. So he goes out on his first rampage. What am I doing? Press the wrong button. And there we see the moon again. Again, I'll say it's a funny angle. This moon's at. I said maybe the camera was tilted or something. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But I'm an astronomy geek, so I notice these things. Right, here we see Harry and somebody. I've forgotten the names. I can't remember because I'm an idiot. Is it going to show us Harry and... Where are they? Must be here somewhere. Harry and Judith, of course. We see Harry and Judith arriving. They're obviously going to a dinner party with their friends, Sean and Sean's wife. Here we go. And they're going to go around the back and give them a right old scare. They say, "Oh, Harry, you're crazy." So they're having a jolly good time of it. By the way, this was filmed in Hampstead Heath. It's also in London. So there you go. That's Hampstead Heath. which I think is a frightfully posh area of London. I've been to London once in my life, and I was a kid. We went on a school trip to London. We went to see, what was it, a Pompeii exhibition, the city that was destroyed by the volcano in, 79 AD or whatever it was, 70 AD. They had an exhibition there, so they took us from the school to see that. But we also had a trip around London as well. Went on a tube, went to Trafalgar Square, fed the pigeons. We saw the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. Oh, that was cool. Had a lovely day. But anyway, back to the film. That's by the by. So they go around the back. They're going to give them a right old scare. Oh, and there, as we see, as they're watching and laughing, David attacks. Here we go. You ready? Hang on. Did you hear something? Just now? Come on, get on with it. Here he comes, look. There he is, look. Gets and then Sean's wife. I don't think she's got a name. I think she's just Sean's wife. Yeah, just says Sean's wife in the on IMDb. But she's got a cool real name. She's called Mary Tempest. Cool name. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm saying that a lot, aren't I? She's saying those hooligans are in the park again. So she wants Sean to go and check it out. And then let's see, we get a look at the werewolf, the American werewolf in London. Snarling. Then we're back at the hospital. Dr. Hirsch is asking if Nurse Price has seen David. And Nurse Gallagher says, I don't know. But then Alex is there. She says, yes, I have. And then it takes her to his office. Sean goes out with his whiskey. Is anybody there? Hang on. Oh. I don't know. Oh no, we don't see him find them yet. I don't think. No, he's setting off to investigate. And Dr. Hirsch tells Alex that he went to East Proctor and there's some sort of mass psychosis. They all believe that David was attacked by a werewolf and Jack were killed by a werewolf. So, if all they believe that, could they pass that on to David? Why shouldn't David believe that too? But I think it's a psychosis. He's not really turning into a werewolf, but he could be in a deranged state and he could harm himself and others. So he tries phoning. But while he's doing that, Sean's looking for Harry and Judith and just finds Harry's hand. We hear a squelch and he looks down and sees a severed hand. And then he goes, then we see the phone ringing in Alex's flat. Obviously, Davy's popped out for a bite, hasn't he? So he's not there. So they're going to phone the police. This is where he's telling her, I tried to investigate their text, but there are no records, and they misplaced the file. But there you go. The whole community is hiding the truth of what actually happened. That's what I'm saying. If they believed they were attacked by a werewolf, why shouldn't David? Then we cut to a junkyard. I think this is by Tower Bridge. We see some tramps who are living in the junkyard. There you go. This is Alf. Oh, I can't remember the names. Tell you me and names. Alf, Ted, and Joseph. 3 tramps living in the junkyard. They've got a dog. They hear a noise. There you go. There you see Tower Bridge there. And the London skyline. I don't know what side of the river we're on. Is that Battersea Power Station there? Could be. I don't know. In the distance. But anyway, I don't know if it's a real scrapyard or if it's one that's they've made for the film. I don't know. But does it say in this filming locations thing? Why not fit in a little sightseeing while satisfying that craving for human flesh? It says here. From here, I'll put this link, by the way, in the description. for the filming locations, David ranges across the city to turn up on the north bank of the River Thames, just east of Tower Bridge, where he comes across those three unfortunate old homeless guys. The whole area north and south of the river has been seriously redeveloped since 1981, so you're unlikely to stumble across a pile of abandoned cars. Oh, that's all it says. That's all it says. It doesn't say if it were a real scrapyard. I don't know. We might have just made it for the film. I don't know. Anyway, so David attacks these. The dog runs off. Smart dog, that. Winston is the dog. That's not Winston. And then there we go. David attacks them and kills them three. Then we cut to, I think this is the Old Witch. It says Tottenham Court Road there, but I'm sure it says in this thing it's filmed at the Old Witch. Yeah. David next turns up in a near-deserted underground station. Aldwych Station in the Strand is almost invariably rented out to film companies since it's permanently closed and at the end of a spur line, causing no disruption to services. So there you go. Unusually, the tube station where the city gent gets chomped is the busy Tottenham Court Road station, though filmed in the wee small hours. There we go. Oh, yeah, and then we see the film poster, which we'll get to. But anyway, so is this actually Tottenham Court Road or is this the Old Witch? I don't know. Maybe it's both. So we see this actor. The train goes. There we go. We see him. This is Michael Carter, the actor. I can't remember the name of his character. It'll say, won't it? Gerald Bringsley. Michael Carter, probably most famous for playing. I forgot his name. In Return of the Jedi, the alien. You know. Never mind. Tell you my brain. The fella, you know, did Wana Wanga, that fella, you know, that meets R2 and 3PO at Jabba's palace. What's he called now? I can remember all the other characters apart from the one I need to remember. Never mind. Boba Fett killed him in the Book of Boba Fett, didn't he? But that was a different actor playing him then. Anyway, buys a chocolate bar. Then he hears a growl. He says, "Hello. I assure you, this is not the least bit amusing. It's not frightfully posh in London, are they?" Anyway, he sets off. Then he starts being chased. Keeps hearing the growling. There we go. And obviously he sees the werewolf now, doesn't he, as it comes round, because we get a POV shot. So he starts running down this. Oh, did we see... I think we see the poster in a moment, the famous poster. No, I missed it. Where are we? There we go. I can't see it. Hang on, let me move that over a bit. There. Oh, not that. Not that. There we go. See you next Wednesday. John Landis has that phrase in all of his films. He even had it in the Michael Jackson Thriller video, didn't he? But there you go. But we see this film later on. So another part of where I've got to be careful. Anyway, so off he goes. And then we get another glimpse of the werewolf in a moment when he falls on the escalator. There we go. And we get a quick glimpse of the werewolf as it... walks out here. We just see its two front legs because it didn't have back legs. It's on like a cart, and they pull it on. Bib Fortuna, that's who it is. Yes, thank you, Joshua. Bib Fortuna. Here it comes. Here comes the werewolf. Look, we just get a quick glimpse of it. There we go, as it appears. Oh no, we do see its back legs, but it's on a cart, so it's being pulled and somebody's operating it like that. And then he gets got, and then we cut to lions. There we go. And we're in London Zoo in Regent's Park now. We see all the animals are freaking out because David wakes up in the wolf house. There we go. There's the wolves. I presume they've all just been fed because they're not eating him. Trained wolves, I should imagine. Anyway, he climbs out. There we go. It's in the nude. That's Alex is on the phone to Dr. Hirsch that, He's not home yet. She's so helpless. Monkeys. He's hiding, is David. Meets this old lady. I've seen her in something before, and I can't think what. She's been in stuff, but don't ask me what. But she's befuddled by this naked man in front of her. But anyway, then we see this kid, the worst actor in the world. You'd have thought, it's London. You thought there'd been, there's acting schools aplenty, isn't there, in London? You thought they'd found a kid that could act better than this kid. But anyway, calls him over, says, "Hey, kid, come here. I don't know who you are." He said, "I'm the famous balloon thief. Give me your balloons, I'll give you £1. What? £2. Why would a thief give me £2? And he says, "I'll show you." So he steals his balloons, runs off with them. The kid smiles. And he tells his mum, "A naked American man stole my balloons." What? There we go. And he, have I missed? There we go. He steals this coat. He goes running past here. Pew! Get that coat there. I presume there's the money in the pocket of this coat, because next time we see him, he's getting on a bus. But Dr. Hirsch buys a newspaper, learns about the killings that happened the night before. 6 of them. 6 people are being killed the night before. And then we see a bus stop, all these feet. Then we see David's feet. Oh, no, we don't. There we go. There we see David's feet. He's going to get on this bus. I says to that fella, "A lot of weather we've been having lately." And then he gets on the bus. Buses aren't free. You've got to pay to get on the bus. So I'm presuming he's either found some change, or there was maybe some coins in his pocket, in the pocket of the coat. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. But he gets back to Alex's flat anyway. It doesn't really matter. He gets back. And he's fine. He says he's freezing. And she's like, "Where have you been?" And he says, "I've lost my mind. I woke up in the zoo." But he feels great, he feels, he's a bit hyper. So anyway, so they start to... He gets his clothes on, and she phones Dr. Hirsch and tells him, or does he phone her? I can't remember. I've only just watched it and I can't remember. But anyway, she talks to Dr. Hirsch on the phone and tells him that David's back, and Dr. Hirsch says, "I want him here in my care. Shall I send a car?" And I'd have said, "Yeah, send a car." But she says, "No, we'll get a taxi. It'll be cheaper." But never mind. And she says, "Yeah, he seems fine. He's dazed, a bit confused, but he's been a bit enthusiastic." There we go. So they set off. Here we go. And there it says, "I haven't felt this good for a long time." It says, "He feels like an athlete." It's obviously, because he's a werewolf now. So they get in a taxi and going to St. Martin's Hospital. And here we see, this is Alan Ford. Is playing the taxi driver. He's been in loads of stuff. He usually plays like a Cockney gangster or something like that. He's been in films like... Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, stuff like that. I think he's been in that, and films like that. We're in Cockneys versus Zombies. We're in that. That's a brilliant film. Is that? Dig that one out. In fact, I might do that. But it's more of a comedy than a horror film. By the way, people think this is a comedy for some reason. I don't know why. It's got humorous parts in it, but I won't class it as a comedy. But for some reason, also The Howling is classed as a comedy by some people, a horror comedy. I don't know how, but they do. Anyway, the taxi driver tells them, there you go, "Puts you in mind of the days of the old demon barber of Fleet Street, down it." And it tells them that, 6 people being killed in different parts of the city. And obviously David thinks it's him. So pulls over, gets out of the cab, and they're in Trafalgar Square. I don't know how close Earl's Court is to Trafalgar Square. Maybe it's really close, I don't know. What's that, Joshua? I was just going to comment on Cockneys versus Zombies. Yeah, it's a cool film. I like it. Speaking of Trafalgar Square, that's what they call them, don't they? Cockneys versus Zombies. It's crawling with Trafalgars out there. Trafalgar Square, Fox and Hare, Hairy Greek, 3-day week, Weak and Feeble, Pins and Needles, Needle and Stitch, Abercrombie and Fitch, Abercrombie Zombie, innit? Why do I remember that? I don't know, I just do. Anyway, they're in Trafalgar Square, because of all the pigeons, and this is David saying, Jack was right, I'm a werewolf. And there's a full moon tonight, so he's going to go to the cops. He wants to get himself arrested. So they go to this little area that seems to have been fenced off from the rest of the world for filming purposes. But he tries to get himself arrested. But this Bobby doesn't want to arrest him. And so he starts shouting, Queen Elizabeth is a man. Prince Charles is a faggot. I think he says that. There you go. Winston Churchill's full of shit. And then, swearing. And he's not going to arrest him. He says, I want you to arrest me, you moron. And he said, do you think he should arrest me? And then this actress, another bad actress, says, I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's a prank. In a proper, I don't know. Anyway, he won't arrest him. So he runs off, there's David. He tells Alex that he loves her. And he runs off. And he runs across the road, nearly gets run over, and Alex loses him in the London crowds, I suppose. So she goes to the hospital and tells them, there you go, that she's lost David, is not in his right mind. So next we see another cool scene. We'll find him, not to worry. And there you go. I promise. And then nearly walks into the door. Then we cut to Piccadilly Circus, and this was actually filmed in Piccadilly Circus. There were some scenes that were filmed on a set, but a lot of it were filmed. The nighttime scenes, I think, were filmed in Piccadilly Circus. This is obviously the real Piccadilly Circus. But according to where have I seen it now? I've got it somewhere. I don't know. I read it somewhere. That during the nighttime scene, we'll get to it. So we see David in the phone box. He's phoning home. There you go. He's talking to Rachel. His little sister answers, and apparently her and her brother are home alone. Says, Mum and Dad had never left me at home at your age, when I was 10. But anyway, he tells her, he wants to tell Mum and Dad that he loves them, and he loves Rachel and Max as well. And he says, no, I'm not being silly, you little creep. And it's quite a heart-wrenching moment, because it's his suicide note, basically, isn't it? Hang on, what's happening? Impressive memory. And though this has been some comedic bits, it's not a comedy. No, I don't think it's a comedy. However, the sequel leans heavier into the comedy, also a fun watch. I like the sequel. I'm going to talk about that afterwards. We'll get into that afterwards. I'll mention the sequel, if I remember. But yeah, I don't mind it. People hate it, don't they? American Werewolf in Paris, but I quite enjoy it. But anyway, so he's doing that. He's leaving his suicide note with his little sister, and he tries to, cut his wrists, but he can't do it. So he just goes running off, and then he sees Jack. Oh, by the way, that's. Can you see it? Yeah, that's the statue of Eros in Piccadilly Circus. He sees Jack outside an adult cinema. Oh, see, I've gone too far now. So he goes running across the road. I've missed the bit where he sees Jack. Jack waving him over to this adult cinema. So David runs over to it. I think this actually was a cinema at the I think inside as well was a cinema. I think it was filmed inside. But according to is it in this? It says it's where are we? It says it's a branch of Gap. The tiny cinema is long gone and is now a branch of Gap clothes store on the corner of Shaftesbury Avenue in Piccadilly Circus. So there you go. So it's now a shop. A Gap shop. So he says, how much is it? Oh, I've got to be careful here now because we're seeing boobies and stuff, aren't we? So he goes in. Then. Anyway, he finds Jack. I'm going to have to be quick here. There you go. He finds Jack at the back. I presume nobody else can see him. I don't know, but there he is. He's even more decayed now. I don't know how he's talking and enunciating. He's got no lips, but he does. And David says, I suppose you want to say I told you so. He says, if I was still alive, I probably would, but I did tell you so, you schmuck. So again, they're reiterating to him that he's got to take his own life. Whoa, steady. Oh, David said, good film, yeah. So they introduce him to the people he killed last night. So, is it all of them? Yes, it is all 6 of them, yeah. So we're introduced to... there we go, talking to him. There we go, Gerald Brinsley. So they meet him, there he is. I'm a victim of your carnivorous lunar activities. That's what he tells him. And we meet Harry and Judith and the 3 tramps. And there he's telling him, you've left my wife a widow, my children fatherless. So they're telling him he's got to die. So they give him some suggestions, a bullet. And David says, does it have to be a silver bullet? No, be serious. Electrocution, hanging, a knife. And then one of them said, drowning. And then, they mentioned pills as well. But then I think we see Piccadilly Circus at night. There we go. I think we see the moon appearing through the clouds. And so they did film at Piccadilly Circus. I read a thing, it said, pardon me, oh, crikey. I think over 2 or 3 nights they filmed between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. But they only had to close the roads for a couple of times for a few minutes to do a couple of the stunts that we see later on with a bus and stuff like that and some cars. But they said it went quite well. And apparently the police were really happy to help out in this film because John Landis gave the police a free screening of the Blues Brothers. Don't know why that would impress the police, but it did. The Metropolitan Police. Anyway, David's changing in the back of this movie theatre. And, dead it. And a fellow just comes to watch him. David tells him to get out, to go away. Please run. Oh, see, hang on. Then he growling happens. There we go. And then he's changing again. He's always got his eyes shut, hasn't he? When we see that, it looks. I don't know. It's not a very good one, to be honest. Anyway, they hear the noises and people screaming inside, and the concierge or whatever they're called, usher. It's an usher, isn't it, in a cinema? The usher goes to check it out. Oh, crikey! That were close. And goes to check it out, and we see, David eating the customers. And then she's screaming, and she says, there's a monster in there, mad dogs, he's tearing people apart. And all the police arrive. And a policeman goes in, and he's walking there, sees some dead people, and then he goes round. He's dead. And then he sees David. Oh, there we go. It roars at him. Hang on, I've just missed it. I think we're going to be safe there, aren't we? There's not much on show. There we go. Sees David eating a fella. So he goes running out, pulls the blind down. There's a monster in there. So the alt police arrive, and David tries to get through, and it's all rattling the shutters. And they better bring rifles. So all the police and all the crowds are gathering. And then Inspector, what's his face? Villiers, is it Inspector Villiers and Sergeant McManus, they arrive. He says, what's going on? He says, some sort of animal is there, sir. And David bursts through. Here we go. David bursts through, look, and gets in the Inspector right in the neck, and his head comes off. There we go. Bites off his head. Boom. There we go. And then he goes on a rampage around Piccadilly Circus, snapping at people. So, what's that? I love the face of the full transformation. So feral and powerful. Yeah, it's cool. It is, it's cool. It's cool. What was I saying? Oh, he's going around snapping at people. So I wonder if he's like, you know, if he does bite somebody, they'll turn into a werewolf, won't they? So is he leaving lots of werewolves about? I don't know, but he don't tell us that. Anyway, so we're seeing buses crash and cars crashing and people getting run over. There we go, people going through windscreens. They're actually one shot. I've gone past it now, but there's somebody getting, you know, obviously it's not a real body, but it looks real, getting run over by a car. You know, it's really quick, but it's brutal. So Dr. Hirsch comes and wakes up Alex and says, there we go, some sort of mad dog. A disturbance in Piccadilly Circus, some sort of mad dog. And she says, David, I thought they didn't believe he was a real werewolf. But never mind, obviously they changed their mind. So they head there, and as I said, David's going around, look. Oh, he's heading down, he's out of Piccadilly Circus now, and he's heading down the back streets and alleys of London. He has a howl. Now, this fella here does my favourite line of the film. I'm always saying it. Here we go. In fact, we might play this bit. You ready?
It's a dead end down there.
There we go. It's a dead end down there. I don't know why. I'm always saying it. If I'm watching the film and there's an alley, I always go, it's a dead end down there. Oh dear. Because I've got nothing better to do. So he's cornered down in this alley, and then the police marksmen arrive. Here we go. Here they're coming. The police marksmen putting their bullets in their guns. But here's Alex and Dr. Hirsch. David, it's David. She just knows. She knows it's David. So she gets out of the taxi and gets through the crowds somehow. And runs down there. You must let me through. So she gets through and runs down. And she sees David at the end. Sees David at the end of the alley. There we go. There we go. Cool shot of the werewolves. The best look at it that we've had, isn't it? That, let's say, it's a cool monster. Still prefer the howling ones. I do, but never mind. This is a cool one. And she tells him that she loves him. Let me help you. Says, I love you. We're going to see that here. This is the last line of the film. There you go. And he looks at her. His eyes soften. Look, his hackles or whatever go down, don't they? As though he's like, huh? And then, I don't know if instinct takes over or if he realises this is his chance. This is his chance to end his suffering and the suffering of others and free Jack and all the others. But he lunges at her. See, I've gone too far now, haven't I? There you go. Lunges at her. You know, suddenly snarls again. There you go. And then all the shots ring out. And there we go. And falls to the ground. And she obviously sees him transform back into David. Is it instant? It must be like that, mustn't it? Takes him ages to change into a werewolf, but to change back, no time at all. And we see David, his dead body on the floor. There we go. And that's the end of the film. And then we go to Blue Moon, don't we? By that one. The Marcells, that one, that version. Where are we? Yeah, and it cuts to that. So a bit of a downer ending. There we go. That's the end of the film. But it's a cool film. Yes, that's what I think. I think he chose to do it because she loved him. And remember what he said earlier, that he thought a werewolf can only be killed by somebody who loves him. So there you go. That was his chance. So there you go. That's the end of the film. A cool film. Really cool film. Where have I put it now? Just clear that out. I said we're listening to Very upbeat music, by the way. Apart from Elmer Bernstein's, score, which is super atmospheric, but the songs that they use are all upbeat songs for the most part. Apart from when he's changing, that version of the Blue Moon they use there is a little bit melancholy, isn't it? But yeah, it's a cool film. Let me get rid of that. And that's it. I still prefer The Howling, but I love them both. I love them both, equally in their own way. But The Howling kind of edges it for me. What we're going to say, American Werewolf in Paris. Yes, I want to talk about that one too. I love American. Well, I don't love it. I like American Werewolf in Paris. I think it's a decent film. It kind of reminds me a little bit. They've gone along sort of like the Frighteners route. Peter Jackson's The Frighteners. The ghosts in that like do weird CG stuff, don't they? And they kind of did that a little bit, didn't they, in American Werewolf in Paris. And the werewolves, I don't think they look bad. The CG, but I don't think it's particularly bad CG. You've got to think, well, when it were made, was it 1997 or 99, something like that, wasn't it? It wasn't too bad for the time. And I don't think it's terrible. I think it's a watchable film, a very watchable film, and it's entertaining, and I don't mind it. For some reason, it gets a lot of hate, and it bombed, didn't it, at the box office. But there you go. But I don't mind it. Give it a watch. What's Joshua saying? The Howling was my very first horror movie at 7 years old. Oh, I can't remember what my first one was. As I said, as I have said, when I was a kid, that's why I call this Friday Night Appointment with Fear. There was a series on Yorkshire television called Appointment with Fear, where they used to show like Hammer films and Amicus films and old horror films and stuff. Nothing too gory or anything like that, because that wasn't allowed back then, was it? I don't think they ever showed like The Exorcist or stuff like that. But we thought, Hammer films and stuff like that. And one of the earliest I can remember, but I were older than 7. I don't know how old I was, but I were older than 7 a little bit. Maybe I were at 8 or 9, I think. We were actually, as a family, out. We were at a club, working men's club, and I saw they had the TV on. I think it was bingo night or something, and people were playing bingo. And I were being a kid, I was in the family room, and they had the TV on, and Curse of the Werewolf were on, the Oliver Reed one, and I would think I want to go home and watch this. And but eventually, so we did go home, and I did get home in time to watch most of it. But I missed the beginning, and but that's one of my earliest memories of watching a horror film. I have vague memories of watching a BBC version. That might be on ITV. Mystery and Imagination. The Lost Hearts, which apparently is a lost episode now. It was remade in 1974, but I saw the old version when I was much younger. But I'm waffling now. Right, so that's it. American Werewolf in London. Cool film. I don't know what the budget was. What was the budget for an American Werewolf in London? Shall we have a look? Let's have a look. And how much did it make? How much of a hit was it? American Werewolf in London. Budget. I can't imagine it was that much. Well, it says two. There's two there. There's two numbers there. $5.8 million, $10 million. We'll say 10. That's probably including marketing, I should imagine. But I don't know what the box office was. Financial information. Oh, there we go. At the numbers. Right. Its worldwide box office for American Werewolf in London was, we'll call it $62 million. So that's off I don't know, what shall we say? What was the budget? Does it say here, the budget? No, it doesn't say. But we'll say off a $10 million budget, which was quite a lot for 1981, really. I mean, I suppose it was kind of a big film. I mean, something like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, they were like $20 million budgets, weren't they, back in 1981? Empire Strikes Back and that. I know that was 1980. But yeah, I suppose 10 million's okay. And it made 62, so it was a hit. It was a hit. Right, so anyway, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. Thanks for all the chats, Joshua. I think you're the only one that said anything, aren't you? But never mind. But we've got the chat box working, so at least other people can read your chats now. Cool. Hey, right. So I'm going to get off now. I'm going to take me coat off and put the fire on. 'Cause I'm blooming freezing. Right. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. Hang on, let's get ready. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee.